the anti the anti-DEI bill at the state capitol right now. Many of us were called down to the state capitol this morning to be there in the higher education. That's the Senate Higher Education Committee meeting. So we're going to listen to some of that at the beginning of the actual show. So thank you for joining this morning. My name is Marquis Tate, president of Advancing Black Businesses Foundation. Also, we are here this morning for public policy talks. A little different this morning, just because this is the state's version of the executive orders in Washington, D.C. that are anti-DEI. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Just a little
And their
listen here.
beliefs for where they are.
This is Senator Harbin, the sponsor of the bill.
Evidence of intimidation or coercion to conform to a particular ideology?
Since I'm not in college right now, but from my constituents and her daughter and her friends, she was fearful of even expressing that she had a different belief system from what was being taught. And that was the part that, like I said, motivated me. Our students should not be intimidated in any form or any fashion, and they should have a freedom of expression, a freedom of speech, and be able to express when they are against what's being taught. And I think that's the issue that we're talking about here is freedom and liberty to be able to speak and not to have fear of retribution.
Thank you, Senator. Sir, questions of the committee? Senator Hofstadter? Number, please. What number? 11. Thank you.
I appreciate. what you're
Raquel, is
doing
my
in concept.
screen
I think
changing?
We need to
Let's see.
certainly look
There
at
we
this.
go.
And I think our chancellor made a lot of efforts.
We're
in
currently watching the
several questions I
hearing.
have. I know you added private colleges.
Yes, for those who
to
just
that.
came in,
I
we're
don't
currently
think the
watching
other
the
12 have private
Senate
colleges
Bill
in there. I worry about
120 hearing.
constitutional issues
I'm not
with
going to
that.
watch all of
Why
it,
would
just
we,
a few more minutes
to add that.
before we
We
get
are
started.
still
This is the
putting
anti-DI
tax
bill
dollars
at the
into
state
private
capitol.
I understand that, but
that portion, but we need to address, and I know there may be a constitutional issue. I've been aware of that, but I think we need to look at, do we have an obligation to put money that belongs to the taxpayers into institutions that are actually in some ways going totally against where we are?
so the other question would be on unintended consequences. I know you've got sex in here, and is somebody going to look at that and say, when you put women in a dorm that's better than men, have they got a better thing? And are we keeping the men from being in that dorm? That we're discriminating against them because we're treating women differently. I was wondering why you had the sex in here.
Well, I think this, first of all, I believe we're to treat women in a superior manner from that standpoint. I believe that God.
So we're treating them differently.
I won't say differently, but I'll say the leaders eat last, is we're to treat those that are there in
A few more minutes,
superior
everyone.
fashion.
We're going to get started.
I think
Senate Bill 120, the anti-DEI bill,
going through school and going through college,
state capitol.
the boys' rooms were never anything like the girls' rooms. They were far neater from that standpoint and better facilities. I don't see that as an issue.
So this would make them be equal on the men's, I guess, then is what you're saying. And then looking at some of these courses, and I agree, some of these don't need to be taught, but human development and mental health, I mean, I don't see a problem with a course on human development and mental health. That
Right.
I've got a BS in psychology and biology, and we have to look at developmental health. I know Senator Hickman has to look at the developmental of our youth,
Right,
and how we've got to capture them in literacy before they get past an age where they can't. The critical issues in mathematics education, just from a standpoint, I'm not sure why that's on the list. I agree some of these should be on the list. And hunger in our schools, should we not look at hunger? I'm a little confused on some of these.
No,
I see some of these courses, but the others, I'm just not sure why they're there.
Right.
Point of clarification, I
Yeah.
think we're not necessarily debating any particular course.
Yes.
Or any particular program.
All right, everyone. All right, we'll come out of that. We may go back to that. There's supposed to be some public comments at the Senate Education Committee meeting Good morning, everyone. My name is Marquis Tate, President of Advancing Black Businesses Foundation. Thank you for joining Public Policy Talks this morning. I wanted to start off this morning with the Senate Bill 120. That is what I call the anti-DEI bill. The hearing is going on right now down at the state capitol. We were live at the state capitol just a few minutes ago, and I'm going to watch it on my phone. I wanted to see, I know there's going to be a few people representing our community that's going to be making public comments. We may get a chance to go back and listen to some of those comments. But I wanted to take you to the state capitol this morning. We were called to the state capitol this morning by the the Atlanta Urban League, John Moy, Nancy Flake Johnson. Thank you for your support of our community. So there's several that are there in attendance this morning. I even thought about going down and doing a show from the state capitol this morning, but I could not make that happen due to just the capitol being the capitol. It is a lot going on in the state capitol. It's very busy. So, but thank you for joining us this morning. So that Senate bill is very, very similar to the DEI executive order by President Trump. There are two DEI, or really I call anti-DEI bills. So it's a lot going on at the lot going on in DC, but for the southern states, there are bills in Tennessee that are similar to the executive order. There are bills in other southern states, other Republican states that are coming down. So what I want you to understand that this state being a red state when it comes to state government, it is very, very similar to the White House, to the incoming administration. So we have definitely been friendly to the current administration. Governor Kemp has definitely been very supportive, I will say, of Black chambers around the state. Our Black chambers, I know Dwayne Johnson, I see you there. We may have some other Georgia Coalition Black Chamber presidents. We have met, Dwayne, I want to say we have met with them, met with the governor on 5 separate occasions, So the governor has been very open to meeting with us, and we'll be making some major announcements coming soon from what came from those meetings. So that will be possibly next month or in April. You know more about what's going on there. However, we still have DEI that is maybe possibly going away at our public universities, our local governments, our state departments. So in our county departments, according to the Senate Bill 120, when I look at a bill, I look at this co-sponsors, the sponsors, and in that Senate Bill 120, there are several or most of the sponsors of that bill who have signed on to that bill. I think I counted about 80 to 85%, maybe even over 90% of the sponsors are either a chair of a committee in the Senate or they are vice chair of a committee in the Senate. So what does that tell me? That tells me that bill has a good chance of definitely moving to the floor and receiving a vote and a chance of actually passing. We had a major push a few years ago about the voting rights bill in the state, and you saw us galvanize, or you may have not seen us galvanize, but we're meeting. A lot of the organizations were meeting behind the scenes on right here on this format on Zoom, talking against that, and we had a major front against that bill passing, and it passed. It passed by overwhelming support of the House and the Senate, and the governor signed that into law. So I'm actually watching this on my phone to see who is going to be testifying. We may or may not go back. But so once we get to the comment section, if you want to comment about DEI, please do so. I know we have some DEI experts out here with us in the audience today, but it's a lot going on out there. The Women's League this past Monday, I had a great time with Michelle Glover, our chair of the Women's League, and many others, including my co-host Raquel Hill. Montina Young Frazier was one of the panelists along with myself. Dr. Shelton was a panelist. Dr. Let's see, Bale was if I'm getting those names, I don't have the names in front of me. And Bobby were great panelists. We talked about the state of the Black woman entrepreneur post-election. Raquel, I know you were there with me. We had a great time there. I see Montina out there. So we're rolling, and we're here supporting Black women. Black women voted for the vice president in a very high number. That was some around the 93% of Black women voted for the vice president. It's a lot going on there. Raquel, what's going on with?
All right. Good morning. Good morning, good people. Before I jump into that, I just want to do some brief housekeeping. There was someone in the waiting room, JC Moore. Your name appeared about 4 times. So I deleted like 3 of those. So whomever on the Atlanta Black Chambers team that's helping me bring people in, I removed JC Moore. And then there's also someone named Veronica. You're in here twice. We just want to make sure that we're not going to be spammed or any of those things. And then one more housekeeping thing. Last week, I was deleting someone's flyer as they were putting it inside of the chat. We want you to refrain from spamming the chat because we put so many links inside of the chat. And around 9:10, like 5 minutes before we leave, respectfully, you can start to self-promote. But if you can refrain from doing that during the show, if you will. So let's talk about, my observations. And again, I'm going to say the opinions of Raquel Hill are not necessarily those of ABB and the Atlanta Black Chambers. We're going to refer to my segments as rants. Raquel's all natural thoughts. So the first thing that I want to say is it was great seeing everybody in the room connecting names to faces. And I know that this conversation came about because people were wondering, are our Black women okay? Some of us, we were angry, but some of us, we decided to just take a step back and focus on self-care and move more intentionally as we reemerge and come back out into society, take inventory, understand who our allies really are. Do white women really support us? Those kinds of narratives came to the forefront. We were preaching to the choir when we were in this room. Everyone was already gung-ho. They knew what they wanted to do, but it was good for the collective to be together and receive this message. My one takeaway was that mental health is a priority. I heard a lot about setting boundaries from Bobby and Dr. Felicia and Montina and even, oh my God, Sheldon. It was my first time meeting him, in that room. And of course, Marquis sat on the panel, educating us about statistics because we all know math does not lie. One of the things that I wanted to just kind of point out is to make sure that we don't lose the definition of the individual words that make up the word DEI. We hold on to diversity, we hold on to equity, and we hold on to inclusion, because when they put them all together, what they're doing is inundating us with a bunch of vocabulary to weaken some of our words. So I think we need to just kind of, hold on to that. I also had the pleasure of attending the city of Atlanta's State of the City with Andre Dickens on the other day. And I just wanted to report back that the city of Atlanta is a AAA bonded city, which means we have the highest credit, financial sustainability. And I believe Andre is now pitching himself for re-election in the upcoming year. So again, had a great time at the event, got to connect names to faces and meet people. And my biggest takeaway is if we don't take care of ourselves, we cannot take care of others. So that is my all natural thoughts. Until next time, I will be behind the shield.
All right, thank you, Raquel, for those great remarks and a recap of the meeting with the Women's League. And I will say that Black men are right there beside you to walk down that, I'll say that proverbial aisle. We voted around almost 80% of Black men voted the same way. Almost 80% of Black men voted the same way. So we are right there. We voted in a block, which is a very, very strong way to actually vote. And I do want to go back. Chris Bruce is actually speaking, ACLU attorney. I do want to share the screen, and I want you to listen to his testimony real quick. Let's see how long we'll stay on here. Let me go back. Raquel, I am trying to share. Let's see. Got that. Listen up, everyone. Listen up. Let me turn the volume up.
If you would speak for ACLU.
Yes. You want me to speak first or?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, you're gonna have to, this is 2 minutes
Okay.
by both.
Oh, well,
That's the challenge we
if
face.
he's an Emory student.
I'm speaking up.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I'm saying. He's
All right.
speaking as an Emory student.
All right, keep going. Keep
Okay,
going.
I'll keep it going. Well, look, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, good. I'm gonna keep my remarks as tight as possible because there are a lot of constitutional issues that go along with this. So I am the Policy and Advocacy Director of the ACLU of Georgia. I know a lot of times I go off script. I'm staying with the script this time, Chairman Burns.
Thank you.
The U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly affirmed that colleges and universities must remain in spaces for the free exchange of ideas and that the government cannot suppress speech based on viewpoint. In ACLU case, Keishan v. Board of Regents, the Supreme Court struck down a New York state law requiring public employees, including teachers, to renounce communism as a condition of employment. The court held that such laws were unconstitutionally vague and violated the First Amendment rights of educators, emphasizing that the government may regulate speech only with narrow specificity to avoid suppressing legitimate expression. Just as New York's law targeted certain political beliefs, SB 120 restricts discussions of DEI-related concepts, effectively banning certain viewpoints in an academic setting. This type of viewpoint discrimination is prohibited by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution and Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 5 of the Georgia Constitution. The ACLU has consistently opposed efforts to censor classroom instructions on racism and sexism, recognizing such laws as unconstitutional. In Florida, the ACLU successfully challenged the Stop Woke Act, which sought to ban instructions on systemic racism and sexism in workplaces, K-12 schools, and higher education. The court ruled that the law violated the First and 14th Amendment again by imposing viewpoint-based restrictions on educators and students and blocked its enforcement in public universities. If Georgia enacts SB 120, it will almost certainly face similar constitutional challenges.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, if you would share that with us, we recognize those concerns and we appreciate your input on that. And I would hope we can have some additional offline discussion.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Chairman.
All right, let me turn
Georgia
that
Educator
off.
for Equity
Let's
and
see.
Justice.
Yeah.
Ariane Montgomery. Ms. Montgomery.
All right, just wanted everyone to hear that testimony. I know Chris emailed a lot of us and said he would be making a testifying or making public comments at that Senate Bill 120. That is the anti-DEI bill that is under consideration. They're not going to make, as the chairperson of the committee mentioned, they're not going to make a decision on today. From what I understand, if that's going to move forward, it's not going to be a vote or a committee vote on the bill actually moving forward. But just wanted to make sure that you are well informed of what's going on at the state capitol when it comes to situations that directly, or bills that directly affect you, just to back up, this is we generally start off with acknowledging this is Black History Month. Actually, the next to the last day of Black History Month. Please continue to enjoy Black History Month and enjoy Black History Year. I celebrate Black History all year long. Please donate to Advancing Black Businesses Foundation. We need your monetary support to move forward. We are pressing forward also on September the 25th. We're putting the plans together for the annual DC Fly-In along with the Atlanta Black Chambers. We're going to have another great year. This will be our 4th year with our DC Fly-In. We've gotten so good at this, I would say, that we're advising other chambers around the nation of how to do fly-ins. So we generally have a dinner on that Friday night. We're looking to expand that type dinner event to another type event. So pray for us. We should be able to pull that off, but you'll see that announcement is coming soon. Also backing up to June the 2nd, the first Monday, we have our golf outing / golf event / golf tournament. We're actually under the planning stages of that. That is June the 2nd. And also backing up even more to this coming month, March the 20th is our annual legislative day at the Capitol. Annual legislative day at the Capitol. You'll get that sign up information coming to you very, very soon. That'll be in the ABC's newsletter, actually coming very, very soon. Buy Black, BY Black, byblack.us. Please go to buyblack.us and register your business. You can also go as far as getting your business certified. Coming soon, you heard me talk about the Target Fast. That's going to be coming soon. Melvin and I, Melba, Akita Patterson, we were all at New Birth when that announcement was made. We are there for the Buy Black side. We're using this as a catalyst for Black people to all of the nation to find your businesses at Buy Black. The Target Fast is I look at as only a catalyst to group economics from us getting more business around the nation, and you're going to be able to showcase your business on Buy Black. On buyblack.us, scroll down to the very bottom, and you'll see join, the join button and the certification button down at the very bottom. That's the easiest way I can find it. But you want to register your business at minimum. Would love for each and every one to actually get certified by Black. That is a U.S. Black Chambers. As you know, we were the U.S. Black Chambers Chamber of the Year last year. We are official partners with the chamber. We're actually doing a program called the Capital Readiness Program, the United States Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency's Capital Readiness Program. We're in cohort number 3. Had a great meeting last night with the cohort participants. So, going on, we're about to open up. There is also, to get back on the DEI conversation, there is a DEI lawsuit by the National Urban League, the National Fair Housing Alliance, and the AIDS Foundation of Chicago. This is at the federal level. A lawsuit has been filed against the administration, and mostly all of the departments are listed. All of the departments are listed in the actual lawsuit. It's approximately 100 and some page lawsuit. Raquel, if you don't mind putting that into the chat. I'll say I like the lawsuit. When I look at legislation, when I look at different lawsuits or something that is for the benefit of our community, the Black community, the first thing I do, I press Control F. That fine button comes up, and I put the words Black, and to see how many times are we mentioned in the lawsuit, in the bill. I put the word African American, and I saw Black is listed in that lawsuit 87 times. They are talking about our history all the way back to slavery. They're talking about many, many aspects of where we were oppressed along the way, all the way up until today's time. So I really like seeing that from a historical standpoint. They even have data, talking about data from our perspective, from the Black state of view of what is going on in our community and why we need to strike that, or why the court needs to strike those executive orders down. So again, but you glance over that, go press Control F if you want to get to all of the sections that's directly related to you. It'll be an easier read because it is over 100 pages. Over 100 pages, a lot to read. But that is put on by the National Urban League, the National Fair Housing Alliance, AIDS Foundation of Chicago. Also, we got a quick, is that a temperature check, Raquel? We always like to poll and get information from you. We use this information to talk to be able to talk from a stronger standpoint, from data, from the persons who participate on public policy talks. But I really appreciate each and every one of you coming each and every Thursday morning, 8:30 to 9:15, and giving us your feedback, your direct feedback. This helps us move forward. It helps us talk. It helps us stick our chest out when we're talking about you. When we're talking about our community. That's why you hear me talk so much about data. But are you a member? The second question, have you explored opportunities to do business with government agencies or corporations through supplier diversity programs? We wanted to know a percentage of the participants on this call of how many of you are looking or exploring, have you explored the opportunity to do business with the government or corporations through supplier diversity programs? We want to know that. You heard us talk a lot about government certifications from the 8A program. I know at the Women's League event, there was a conversation. I know one of our potential, I'll say, chamber members who is a federal contractor brought up the information around the ANCs, the Alaska Native Corporations. They are written into the actual 8A program. And I know Paula Watts and I have talked in detail about this, but they can get sole source contracting up to $100 million. Sole source contracting up to $100 million. And if I'm right about it, Paul, if I'm right about it, the regular sole source is 2 million. Is it, Paula? I think 2 million.
4.5 million.
All right. Thanks for correcting me on that.
And if you look at the Alaska Native Corporation's infrastructure, it's all ran by white men.
Medical
All right. There you have it. Paula, you're taking me somewhere by saying that. And that is the numbers. When we look at the numbers, when we look at the background of companies that are even in the 8A program, especially ANCs that are run by white men, if we look at the data, and I mentioned this at the Women's League event about the data to the tune of, you know, the average income. The average income in Atlanta, 28,000 for our community. When we look at the number of federal contracts, 1.5% of the federal contracts are going to businesses that look like you, and even some of you that are on this call. So not enough. And we're talking about fighting for DEI when we're getting the lower end of the stick, or the total poll, I'll say, because we know that white women are the biggest beneficiaries of DEI, affirmative action, you name it. They're the biggest beneficiaries. And white women are married at well over a 70% rate. So you have, I think I counted the numbers before, at the federal level, you have about 90, I think it's about 93, 94, maybe even 95% of the federal contracts is going to white households. 95%. You got 5% that's split up with all of us, and in what they call the minority community. And I think that we need to pull ourselves definitely away from that minority community. I showed that Senate bill because I want you to be informed. I want you to be the most informed Black business owners in this land when it comes to public policy as relates to the federal government, the state government. And I know Montina covers mainly that local government. With, you know, politics, I've always said, is always local. We have to have a grassroots movement to move forward. So let's see, Raquel, what do we have? Because I know we have the comment section also. Let's see, many of you have joined.
Are you ready to reveal the poll? Did we do the DEI lawsuit from the National Urban League?
Yes, and that is the show it. What do you mention, Rocket? I'm at a loss for a thought. Yeah.
I'm going to drop it in the chat.
Okay,
DEI lawsuit,
great.
the National Urban League, National Fair Housing Alliance, and AIDS. Okay, you did talk about that. And then
Yes.
we have the results from the poll, and then we're going to talk about the event at the White House.
All right, great. So Raquel, on the comments, let's see, on are you a member? We have 74% of you are members. Thank you for your membership. If you want to become a member, please go to atlantablackchambers.org and you can go to membership and join from there. Have you explored opportunities? All right, 16% said yes, 33%. That is a yes. Wait a minute, I'm not reading those right, Raquel. You are the best one to actually read those results. Could you read those results, Raquel?
Yeah, so with the highest percentage, 44% out of 65 people who answered, 61 people, they say no, but I'm interested in learning more. Next, 33% yes, but I have not secured contracts. 16% are at yes, I have secured contracts. And then we have 7% no, I don't believe these opportunities are accessible to my business.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay, there are 11 comments. So we'll go back to that. It is 9:01. We got to get to the comment section. Please start to raise your hand if you want to talk. But right before you make comments, we want to throw a wrench in today. This morning, Raquel, if you could put up the hot button question. This past week, there was a Black History program in the White House. We're going to also share if you haven't seen it yet, share the entire video of the conversation from President Trump, who had Tiger Woods on stage. But look at that hot button question. This is a test right here. Would you attend the White House Black History Month if invited in 2026, not 2025? Would you attend? Let's see what's going on here. How do you feel out there? Would you attend the White House Black History Program if invited in 2026? That is next year. All right, let's see. We got a few people answer the question. Let's wait just a couple of moments, Raquel, and see how this turns out. I know that from the polling that we had during the election time leading up to the election, we did not have many, or if any, Black business attendees on this call that were in support of President Trump. We did not have any. So we knew where we stood. We knew what we were going to talk about when it came to talking about legislation, talking about really public policy to you. All right, we have 65, 66 people have answered that. We got a few comments in there. Got a few comments. We may have to read these comments, Raquel. We may have to read the comments. All right. So that is 68. All right. So about half of you have answered that question. We'll wait another 30 seconds. And then we're going to open the lines we're going to hear from you. What is going on in your world as a Black business owner? What is going on? All right, Raquel, you can close the poll. And if you don't mind, we have, 70% said no, 30% yes. 30%. Raquel, could you read some of those comments?
Yes, let me get to that screen real quick. So what we have, okay, I knew the Oprah Winfrey quote was going to be in here, but we have a hell no. Opportunity, somebody wrote that it would be opportunity to get to decision makers, okay? They may be serving orange Kool-Aid. Someone attended in 2020. We have to show up. It doesn't matter who is in the White House if we want to amplify change. Someone wrote, why not? We have to keep showing up and taking up space no matter what, and in any and every opportunity presented to us. We aren't going anywhere and we will not be moved. These sounds like the yeses. So these are great comments. Many people don't get the opportunity to visit the White House, let alone go inside. Put your feelings aside and enjoy all of the history that comes with seeing the White House. We have a hell to the no. I would attend, but not for the support of the president. It would be for the support of us. HE double hoppy sticks to the no. If you want to make change, you have to be in the room. I learned that from Montina. I would want to be in the room to have conversations with individuals. I'm not afraid of being in the room. We want to show our history for whomever is in the White House. And lastly, I'll be wearing all Black too. So.
All right. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you for the comments, everybody. I think we ended around 70% said no, 30% said yes. I heard somebody talk about this about the opportunity also of being in that White House. All right, Mr. Young, you're up first. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's been a while since I made a comment.